Girl, it is 2026 and we are not leaving all of our money in these checking accounts anymore, okay? Because let's be real, it's not making any money in there, and money that's not being made is losing its value, which is why in this video, I'm breaking down 6 accounts that will make you rich, make you wealthy, that I wish I knew about sooner, because I have made a lot of mistakes. I've left money in these checking accounts, these saving accounts, thinking it's safe, but ultimately, I was losing money, and so once I started using these 6 accounts, my investment portfolio skyrocketed. I now have a portfolio worth over $250,000 by using these accounts strategically, and I want to help you get those same wins as well, okay? So be sure to stick around to the end as well, because I'm going to show you the account that doubled my money with just one investment, and that's my HSA. And people don't realize that an HSA is so powerful, y'all. So you'll see how beginners can use each and every one of these accounts to make your money work for you while you live your best life. So let's get into the first account, y'all. The high yield savings account. I love high yield savings accounts, y'all. I have used mine since I actually looked online to see when I opened it. It was in 2018. Like, I'm a huge fan of high yield savings accounts. And this account is essentially the account that needs to replace your regular savings, okay? So the savings account that you may have at Bank of America, at Wells Fargo, is likely not earning you any money, There's something called an APY, an annual percentage yield. And essentially what that is, in common terms, is interest that a company, a bank, will pay you for allowing your money to be sitting in their account. But often, these regular traditional banks, like, the Bank of America's, the Wells Fargo's, they don't pay you. They pay you in pennies for the savings that you likely have in there, which is probably thousands of dollars, But with the high yield savings account, the emphasis is on high yield. So annual percentage yield, we want that to be as high as possible. And this is where you need to be leaving your savings. The emergency fund that you have, and again, I recommend emergency funds being at least 1 to 3 months of your living expenses for emergencies, not for you to get your nails done, your hair done, for emergencies. I'm a huge fan of these, y'all. I have been laid off 2 times, okay? My emergency fund has saved me. It's saving me now. I'm currently not working. I am unemployed, but I have been saving in this high yield savings account, like I mentioned, since 2018, y'all. I have 6 months worth of expenses, living expenses in this high yield savings account. And that includes stuff for my rent, if I need to get that for my mortgage, if I need to get the house fixed, if my car break down, like, life is gonna life. No matter what you got going on, baby, one thing about life is that life is gonna life, and you wanna make sure that you have emergency funds set aside to tackle lifing, okay? So again, I recommend high yield savings accounts for your emergency savings. Again, 1 to 3 months worth of your living expenses. Put it in a high yield savings account. I personally use Marcus by Goldman Sachs. My link is in the description. If you use it, you'll have a higher yield. Again, we want a high yield when it comes to these high yield savings accounts, because the higher the APY, the more opportunity you have to earn money on whatever balance you have in that account. So right now, Marcus, I think, is sitting around 3.65%, which means if you have a balance of $10,000 in there, you're earning 3.65% on that money just by saving it, not touching it, not investing it, saving it, which is how my money has continued to grow over time, y'all. I have made real dollars with this high yield savings account since 2016. So if you use my code below, you get an additional 0.25%. So it's no longer 3.65, it's 3.90. And again, the name of the game is to have a high APY. The higher the percentage, the more money you have to make. So that's linked in the description. It's Marcus by Goldman Sachs, but feel free to look into Ally, ALLY.com. Wealthfront has one. SoFi, SOFI has one. I believe even Betterment has a high yield savings account. Just Google high yield savings accounts. Again, if you want to use the one that I use and get an extra percentage, 3.90 versus the industry rate right now, I think is around 3.50, 3.65%. That's linked in the description. Again, it's free to sign up. There's no minimum balance, but you want to be you want to be adding money consistently into this account, y'all. When I was working, I put, I want to say 30% of each check in there. Sometimes 20, whatever was going on, but like, I'm so thankful I did that now because I'm not currently working. I got laid off from my job. So my high yield savings account is my peace of mind that I can pay my bills and not lose my house. So use your high yield savings account for emergencies, but also you can use it for fun stuff. I have a high yield savings account that's not for emergencies. It's for my travels and my experiences. Now, I ain't gonna be traveling no time soon, baby. I got no job. But I went to Senegal earlier this year. You know, I went to St. Martin earlier this year, and I have been saving, what did I put in there? $300 from every single check. I think it was $200. $200 with every single check, and as I got closer to the trips, I increased it by $300. And that way, I don't come back in debt. You know, I have the money. I have booked the flight. I have booked the lodging with that money that I have been setting aside. And even when I'm not traveling, like, I still was putting money in there every single month because baby girl likes to travel, okay? I don't know how I'm gonna make that work next year with no job, but baby girl likes to travel. I don't think it's a good idea to be traveling with no job. But God works in mysterious ways, okay? So I only got one big trip that I want to take next year. Outside of that, baby girl gonna be in Houston, okay? And that's okay. I'm gonna be in Houston, I'm gonna be in DC, and I'm gonna be in Cali, which is where my family is. So that's that on that. Please get serious about a high yield savings account because it's a savings account that makes you money, and use it for two things: your emergency funds or any kind of exciting thing that you have going on. You can use it to save for a house, save for a future car, save for traveling like I do. Like your goal is your goal, but definitely use it for your emergency funds. Take that savings out of your Bank of America's, your Wells Fargo, put it in a high yield savings account, y'all. It's free and it pays you to do what we need to be doing anyway, which is save money. So that's the first account. The second account is a high yield certificate of deposit. Now, I love these as well. They operate similar to a high yield savings account. The only difference is two things. Number one, it's a fixed APY. So with the high yield savings account, the APY is shifting. The interest rate is shifting according to what's happening in the economy. So when 2020 hit, baby, the APY was on the ground. It was 0.50, but now the economy is doing A-okay. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. And now the APY is 3.65, 3.90 if you use my code in the description, baby. But with a high yield CD, a high yield certificate of deposit, that rate is fixed. So if you sign up for a high yield CD at 3.65, and let's say your maturity time is 1 month, or 1 year, then you get 3.65 every single month. It never changes. It don't matter if we hit another recession. It don't matter if we hit another pandemic. You getting that guaranteed 3.65 for that 1 year. And the second thing, which I already alluded to, is the maturity. So with the high yield savings account, you can move money in pretty frequently. I don't recommend that. You need to be saving it for what it's meant for. But with the high yield CD, I actually prefer people to use this for something that they know they won't need the money for immediately. So that can be maybe buying a house next year. That can be buying a car next year. That can be a big honeymoon trip. That can be a wedding. Like something that you don't need the money for at least 6 months is what a high yield CD will be best for. And when I was buying my house, I started a little late with my high yield CD, but if I could go back in time, I would have saved more money in a high yield CD versus a high yield savings account. But by the time I got serious about buying a home, I only had 6 months. And so I signed up for the high yield CD that'll allow my money to have that same fixed rate, that fixed APY for those 6 months. And then after that, my money had obviously grown, because a fixed rate is good news for you, because that means it won't change. If it changes with the high yield savings account, then we just have to deal with it. But with the high yield CD, if you're saving for this big thing in the future, like a car, a house, a wedding, a honeymoon, then you know guaranteed you're going to be getting that 3.65 or whatever that APY is. So huge fan of those. There often is a minimum balance as well. This differs by company. Let's see what Marcus is asking for their high yield CD right now, because I don't really add into mine anymore. I just focus on the high yield savings account. So right now their APY, their annual percentage yield for their 12 month, which means you cannot touch the money for a year, high yield CD is 4%. So often the APY is higher for high yield CDs, which is what we love, okay? And it doesn't have to be just 6 months, a year. It can be up to 5 years. But I personally only recommend it for 1 to 2 years. Like, you don't want to have your money at that point. If you got money that you'll need for 5 years, you need to be investing that. And we're gonna talk about the investment accounts a little later. So again, I love high yield CDs. I love high yield savings accounts. 2 different accounts, 2 different focuses, but both can make you money, and it doesn't involve any type of investing. Now, those are the 2 savings accounts you need to be aware of. Highly recommend them. I've used both of them. They've made me some money, and they have different focuses. Let's move on to the next account, which is where we're going to shift gears into investing, because you can save all the money in the world, baby, but we want to grow our money, okay? I'm not saving $250,000. I have an investment portfolio worth $250,000 because I wanted to continue to grow. And the real growth comes from investing, and it's not investing forever. It's not investing thousands of dollars. I started off with just $100 a month in an IRA. So an IRA stands for an individual retirement account. And essentially what this allows you to do is set aside money for retirement, in a tax-free way. So there's two types of IRAs out there. There's a Roth IRA, which is for people that make less than $150,000 annually, and then there's a traditional IRA, which is for people who make more than that. So the benefits for both of these accounts, let's start with the Roth IRA, is that it's tax-free growth and it's tax-free contributions after age 59 and a half. So the beauty of not making a lot of money, which is those of us that make less than $150,000, is that once you reach that retirement age of 59 and a half, that money, that $100 that you've been putting in every single month for 10, 20, 30 years is tax-free, which means you can withdraw it and not have to pay taxes on it. And one of the things about managing and growing your money is that we want to keep our taxes as low as possible. So I am a huge fan of Roth IRAs. If you are a beginner investor, you do not have to have a 9-to-5. You do not have to have millions and millions of dollars. Like, anybody can have a Roth IRA. You just need to have taxable income. So whether you work at the grocery store, whether you work at Chick-fil-A, whether you run your own business, you can have a Roth IRA. You just have to make sure you stay below the income limits, which is $150,000. I'm a huge fan of Roth IRAs. I personally have one, and my Roth IRA has doubled in the last 2 years, just by investing consistently every single month. Just like I put money aside to travel, I put money aside for my emergencies, I put money into my Roth IRA every single month, and I max it out. I've maxed it out for the last 2 years, which means that I put that max amount that you can without being penalized for it. So the max that you can contribute is $7,000 for 2025, and I believe for 2026 it's $7,500. Let me just Google that real quick. The Roth contribution, yes, it's $7,500 for those that are under 50 years old. If you are over 50, then you can add an additional $1,100. So you can contribute, $8,600, which is great, But for most of y'all watching my channel, baby, we under 50. So try to max it out, but start with just $100 because I understand. Like, I started with $100. Do not feel like you got to max it out on year one. I just want you to get comfortable with setting aside that money and starting to invest consistently. And if you need any insight on investing, if you want to learn more about investing and investing that first $100, I will be having a live workshop where we will invest your first $100. It's called Investher Live. I know what it feels like to know that you want to invest. You've likely saved all these posts on Instagram, TikTok. You've bought books you never read. You've watched all these videos on YouTube and you're like, okay, girl, but like, what do I do? That's what Investher Live is for. We will be live on Zoom. I will walk you through my research process. You'd have your account already set up. You'll be able to ask questions in real time, and we will make you an investor. You will walk away from that online workshop. That'll be live. It's not going to be something pre-recorded that I send you. I'm showing up just like you going to be showing up so you can get your questions answered and you walk away with that first $100 invested, and you will be doing that same thing every single month for the rest of that year, y'all. So that's happening on Saturday, January 31st. The link to sign up for it is in the description, y'all. Sign up for the wait list. If it's not live, it's likely already live because you're seeing this video in January. And please make sure you're there, y'all. I have limited spots available. I can't serve everyone, but I want to make sure that the girlies that are serious about making 2026 the year they invest, they are in that room. So again, link in the description, y'all. Sign up. Make sure you are in the room. It's live. It's not pre-recorded. It's not going to be no course or nothing. We're going to be investing. You're going to be investing, and I will be investing with you, okay? So that's linked in the description. And again, I want you to avoid the mistakes that I made. I want you to stop putting it off, and I want you to start investing and investing consistently. So that's linked in the description. Next is a 401k. This is one of my favorite accounts, y'all. Like, Baby, if you are not using your 401k, if you're not using your 403b, we cannot be friends. We cannot be friends, y'all. So a 401k or 403b is essentially a company-sponsored retirement account, y'all. I love these because, number one, they allow you to really grow your money with the support of your company in the form of a company match. So a lot of companies will match a percentage of what you put in there. So let's say your company allows you to match. This is a real story. This was my former employer because I'm unemployed. Let's say my company allowed us to match or contribute 6% of our annual salary into our 401k, and they match 3%. So if we're giving numbers to this, let's say that's $500, for example, that I put in there. And if they match 3% of that or 50% of that, then essentially they're putting in $250. So now my balance is that $500 that I put in plus the $250 that they put in leaves me with the balance of $750, y'all. Now this is on the low end because obviously you're putting much more than $500 in there, but just to show you how it works, like I'm a huge fan of 401ks, 403bs, strictly because most companies offer a company match. Now, if your company don't offer no company match, then we might want to focus on the Roth IRAs, the traditional IRAs, if you will, but I guarantee your company is offering. If you work a traditional 9-to-5, your company likely is offering some kind of match. It may not be 50%, it may just be 1%, but every percent matters because even if you leave that company, that money is yours. Now, you don't want to move the 401k so soon, okay? There's a vesting schedule, which means that essentially you don't want to move that money before it's fully vested in your company, which means that the match has reached its peak maturity. It's like a 4-year-old essentially, because my company, it's not recommended to move our 401k until it's fully vested, and that usually takes 4 years. Often in the public sector, it can take 5 years. One of my besties, she is a school psychologist, and she can't move hers until 5 years if she wants the match to fully mature. So if you got laid off like I did, baby, and you only been at that company for 2 years, I don't recommend you move the 401k just yet. Leave it there, let it mature, and then move it into an IRA, maybe at year 4 or year 5. You'll know your vesting schedule. These are all questions that your HR and benefits people can answer for you. But again, if none of this makes sense, grab Investor 101, my free beginner's guide, linked in the description. I dive into all of it in more time, y'all. So please get serious about your 401k. This is also a great way to reduce your taxes depending on what kind of 401k it is. There is a traditional 401k which lowers your taxes now, which means the amount of money you pay to the IRS is less. Or there's a Roth 401k which operates similar to a Roth IRA where it's tax-free growth, okay? We love Roth IRAs. We love Roth 401ks around here. But all companies operate differently, so you can't often choose. Usually the company tells you what they have available. It's usually one or the other, and you just have to say yes to it. Say yes to the company match and just contribute up to the company match. So if they say you have to contribute 6% for you to get 3%, for them to match 50%, just contribute that 6% so you can get that extra money, y'all. It's yours even when you leave the company. Do not sleep on these 401ks and these 403bs. Please leave some comments and questions below. Please like, comment, and share and subscribe. Send this to somebody who wants to grow their money with ease as well, y'all. And let me know that you're enjoying this video by liking it, sharing it, and subscribing to the channel. The next account is a HSA. Now this stands for a health savings account. One of my favorite accounts, y'all. This is a triple tax advantage account. Now, when you think of health savings accounts, you're probably thinking of deductions, paying co-pays, getting your dental work done. And yes, that's what the account is for. But once I learned that I can start investing in this account, baby, and it's triple tax advantage, which means that the contributions, i.e. the money that I put in there, is tax deductible, which means that it lowers the amount of money that I pay the IRS. The growth is tax-free, which means that if it grows up to $20,000, that money is mine, okay, after a certain age. Now, you got to be 59 and a half, as well as the withdrawals are tax-free. Now, the withdrawals must be for medical expenses. These are the co-pays. This is some medicine you might need. It's dental work. It's doctor work. It's vision, getting new glasses. Those are medical expenses. You cannot just be going to happy hour with this money, baby. You cannot be traveling. You're going to be taxed if you do that, y'all. It still needs to be health related, but I love HSAs because they allow you to invest in ETFs. And if you watched any of my videos, you know I'm a huge fan of ETFs. I just did a video on If I started investing in 2026 as a beginner, this is what I do. And I talk so much about ETFs, y'all. ETFs are my girl, okay? I'll make sure that video pops up on the screen. But essentially, an ETF is an exchange traded fund, and it allows you to buy a collection of companies for one purchase price. So think Google, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Netflix, one purchase price, y'all. We love these because they allow you to have a variety of ownership in one purchase price, and that purchase price is often little, y'all. I talk about how I started investing with just $100. I've since increased that over time. You can't build a portfolio to $250,000, with just $100. But I took my time. I made sure that I understood what I was doing because I had lost a lot of money. We're not doing that anymore. So I don't even recommend to beginner investors to invest in stocks at all. I recommend ETFs. I recommend ETFs like VOO. It's tracking the S&P 500, which is the top 500 companies out there. I recommend VTI, which is tracking the total market index. These are even more companies that you can have ownership into for one purchase price, y'all. I love these, and these are companies we're familiar with, y'all. So you can invest a portion of your HSA balance into an ETF, and again, the contributions are tax deductible, which means it lowers the amount that you pay in taxes for that year. The growth, if it grows up to $20,000, $100,000, that growth is tax-free. You don't pay taxes on any of that. And the withdrawals for medical expenses, again, the co-pays, the doctor's visits, the medicine, all of that is also tax-free. So we love HSAs around here. And this is the account that has doubled for me with one ETF, okay? It was VTI, which is tracking the total market index, which is, again, thousands and thousands of companies. Somebody must have hit a lick, okay? Because my account, I logged in and I said, wait a minute. It literally pushed me over the $250,000 investment portfolio that I had. For a long time, I was sitting at like 221, which I'm happy with. But I logged in and I saw that ETF, that VTI had doubled. And I said, oh, that's what I like to see, okay? Now imagine if I didn't leave that money in there. That is growth. You want to use your HSA wisely. Now, you do have to have a high deductible health plan. Let me know if I should do a video on HSAs because HSAs are that girl, okay? Now, this is more of a mid-level thing. I wouldn't start with this as a beginner. I would start with Roth IRAs and 401ks. HSAs came much later for me, like 2 years ago. But now, baby, I invest in that thing. I leave a lot in there because you're required to leave a certain amount in there with my former company. But the rest of that money, VTI, VOO, BNDX, baby. I don't play with my coins, as you can tell from this video. So I love HSAs. If you are like settled with your 401ks and your Roth IRAs, this is a great next step because of all of the tax advantages, and it's tax-free growth, and there's no income limits or anything associated with it like it might be with, a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. Love, love, love HSAs. Again, this is the account that has doubled for me. I love HSAs. I cannot invest everything that's in there, but we can invest a certain portion, and baby girl has been doing that, okay? Get into it. And let me know if I should do a video on HSAs and the power of them in more detail. Just comment below. Comment HSA, and I'll know to do a video on that. Now, the last account, and I did these in order. I did these in order of priority for a reason, okay? The last account is a taxable brokerage account. This is the most flexible and the most flexible account that you can have from an investing perspective because you can invest at any time. You can invest in anything. There's no income limits associated with it, and you can withdraw the money at any time. Now, the issue with this account, and which is why it's at the bottom of my list, is because you are paying for this account. The growth is not tax-free. Just how we talked about HSAs, Roth IRAs, and it's tax-free growth, that $20,000 turning into $100,000 and you ain't got to pay. You got to pay with a brokerage account, which is why it's my last account that I recommend. But often people start with this. They hear of the Robinhoods and all these other accounts, and they say, oh, okay, I want to buy Apple. And it's like, baby girl, you can buy Apple and Netflix and all these companies, but just know as your company, as the stock growth grows, you're paying taxes on it. And I don't believe in paying taxes on stuff when there's Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs, 401ks, HSAs that allow me to keep my taxes down. We want to allow our money to grow and have the least amount of taxes being taken out of it. So that's why this is at the bottom of my list, but it does serve its purpose. So if you are someone who's like, okay, I just want complete flexibility to get access to my money as it grows. I don't want to wait till 59. I want to live on my money now. A brokerage account is a great account to do that with. I'm just not focused on that right now. Despite being laid off and not having a job, I saved my money, okay? I have money in my high-yield savings account that I can live on because I want to leave my money invested so that it continues to grow. If I take it out now, I'm missing out on the growth that we know Apple and Netflix, Netflix just bought Warner Brothers, baby. I need in on that. So let me leave my money in because as they make money, I'm going to make money. So I don't recommend you start with a brokerage account as a beginner, but if you check the list on all these accounts that I've highlighted, obviously you don't need every single one, but I recommend brokerage accounts for those that have done the things that they needed to do with the accounts that I've already highlighted, and they don't mind paying taxes on the income that they're making with these brokerage accounts. Now, the beauty is that you can invest in all kind of stuff. You can invest in the stocks, the ETFs, the index funds. There's no income limits. There's no contribution limits, even though it's not recommended to have more than $250,000 in one brokerage account. You may want to have multiple brokerage accounts, but we're taking it one step at a time. I don't even have $250,000 to put in one, okay? My portfolio as a whole, all of these accounts are worth $256,000, but I don't have $250,000 that I could just put into a brokerage account right now. So the order of investing matters, y'all. I gave y'all all of these in the correct order that I recommend as a beginner. You don't need to put money in every single thing. It's not going to make sense. But if you follow this flow and you invest in this order of priority, baby, you're going to be at $250,000 before you know it. You're going to be at $100,000 before you know it. So that is it, y'all. If you want the full roadmap on your investing journey, if you want that foundational knowledge, y'all, again, Investor 101 is my free guide. It'll get you everything you need to know about investing in 20 minutes, y'all. It's a 20-minute crash course that I wish that I had. It gives you the breakdown of the investment accounts, even more than what I just gave you. It gives you the different investment types, stocks, ETFs, bonds, etc. There's so many things out there to invest, and I want you to have all the knowledge, y'all, which is why it's free to download. It's linked in the description. And if you're like, okay, girl, this was so good, I didn't even know about all these accounts, like I'm ready to start investing, but I need a little hand holding, then join me on January 31st for Investor Live, where we will invest your first $100 together. This is a group live coaching session, y'all. I'm not sending you no course, no guide. We doing this, we on Zoom, and you're gonna walk away with your first $100 invested. So that's also linked in the description. The wait list or the option to purchase, because at this point it's January, you're likely already ready to purchase it. It's happening Saturday, January 31st. I'm so excited. So many of you guys reach out to me on TikTok and Instagram. I love all the DMs, and you want to start investing. You just need a little help, need a little hands-on support, and I'm here to be that girl for you because I want us to all be growing our money while we live our best lives, and investing in the stock market can help you to do that. I'm proof of it, and I want more women that look like me to have it as well. So that's it, y'all. Comment below and let me know which one of these accounts you're going to start with as a priority, or which one you're already using and that you're loving. Please like, comment, share, subscribe this video. I want to create more confident investors, emphasis on the HER, because that is what my brand is all about. Teaching women how to invest in stocks without fear and grow their money with confidence so that they can live their best lives while their money is growing and working for them. So thank you so much for watching. Please look at all the links below, baby. I gave y'all a lot to cover, but I'm excited to help you guys get these wins and start investing it and growing your money with confidence in 2026. So I'll see you guys on the next video. If you want some advice on how to start investing in 2026, what I would do, check out my video called, girl, that would just be on the screen, baby. Check it out. It's going to be popped up on the screen. And we're going to get you your money, baby. Love it. See you guys.